Yeah, I've just had a terrible day. I still went to all my Zoom meetings though.
Yay.
Still showed up. Misty's like, "You're going to cancel the podcast?" I said, "Never. I'll never cancel a podcast."
Thank you. And sorry for the fuck around as well this week, because I have to go away for work tomorrow.
That's all right. Young Wade is going on holidays, so that worked out well.
Yay.
He was going to cancel on me. One of you was going to cancel on me.
I know. But it's worked out. Thank you, Wade.
Yeah, good on you, Wade. Good on you, buddy. But look, I think we're ready to start the show. I think
so.
We warmed up. You warmed up?
I'm warmed up.
All right.
Yeah.
And welcome to the Pagey train. Today I have in the studio with me Elena, filmmaker, director, writer. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me again.
Again. Oh, when was the last time I had you on the show? Was it last year, year before? I can't remember now.
It would have been about 10 months ago.
10 months? Oh, yeah, you're a fast returner.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I had too much fun the last time.
Yeah. So your film audio guide,
Yes.
did pretty well. It's still out there doing the circuit, right?
A little bit, yeah. And then it's Found a Home, which will be playing. It's Found a Home. It's going to be playing on a. It's going to be playing somewhere in September.
September. Where's that somewhere? Do you know that somewhere yet?
I do, but I can't say.
Can't say. Oh,
But someone picked it up, which was very nice.
damn indemnities.
I know.
Damn indemnities.
I know.
Confidentiality clauses. Can't promote yet. We haven't fully signed the contract. We haven't reached an agreement. Can't promote.
All of that.
All of that.
And I said, but I want people to see their movie. And
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
like, no.
I make the movie. The people want to see the movie.
Yeah, they're like, September. And I'm like, all right.
All right. We'll advertise then.
There we go. It's got one more festival, I think. I'm waiting on a few more, and then September it'll be online for all to see.
Yeah, great, man. That's fantastic news.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that it's found a home.
Yes, thank you.
I think it'll do well wherever it decides to live.
Yes, I will let you know after the show. I'm sorry, everyone, but I'll promote it better.
Yeah, no, just go online. Hey, but let's plug it straight away. Where can we find you online? Where can we find out to find out?
Literally have me on Facebook and Twitter, and Instagram. Instagram's the better one, and Facebook. I will set up a website for myself soon because I've made enough movies to do that. Once you've done 5, then you have to do.
I now have filmography.
Yeah, I've got an IMDb page which I found last week. I've been making movies for 10 years. And here we are.
Yeah, wow.
Social media. Type in my name, Elena, Elena, and you will find me and say hello.
So you're just saying there that you're more of a Graham fan. Are you a Graham fan? Rather than the Space Book?
No, I don't use Instagram otherwise. Facebook and Twitter I do. Twitter, I apologize if you follow me on that, because all I do is talk about movies and either complain about them or praise them too much.
Yeah, I only read Twitter. Don't post.
Yeah.
I only read it.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Don't know why I do that. I read the comments on YouTube. I don't know why.
Well, that's me with Instagram, but
don't know why.
But when I have something to share, I'm like, well, now I have to do this.
I think it's because I enjoy the outrage and the curiosity. Yes. I enjoy the outrage, and I enjoy just how do I put this delicately? Fucktardery.
Oh, that's very, very delicate. No, I love that Twitter's extremities, because when you have people film Twitter, like following critics, filmmakers, either a film is the greatest thing since sliced bread, or it's the worst thing ever made, and I love that. There's no in between. This underrated masterpiece. Oh my God, Godzilla vs. Kong is not underrated. It's
wow, the debate goes on.
Yes,
the amount of times I've heard this debate in the last month is killing me.
Really?
Yeah, man. Look, it has fractured friendships. This debate over Kong and Godzilla. Really has.
Is
yeah.
it worth?
And I'm more of a Gamera fan anyway.
Yeah. Well, I saw Nobody the week later, which is a much better film, and I'm like, go watch that. That's my opinion. But yes. Yeah,
no, it's I do believe that like this escalated to someone getting a beer poured on them at a pub.
Really? Over that film?
Over this film, man. This is escalated. Big shout out to the Bin Chickens if you're listening.
Oh dear.
Yeah, no, the Bin Chickens are really cool. Misty came up with a good name for us before, which was the Binge Chickens.
That's better.
That's pretty good.
That's better. That's original. That's not that Binge Chickens isn't, but
yeah, no, the Binge Chickens. I think that's gonna have some legs.
Yeah, that's fair.
Some tall legs that you can eat with a drumstick.
Well, actually, no. I do like that, but I did actually get into a fight with someone about Godzilla vs. Kong, but for the wrong reasons.
Oh yeah.
It was some friends of mine who love action films said, "Oh, Chris, did you like it? I bet you hated it. But you want it to be in French and black and white because they just think that's all the movies I watch." And I said, no, but I got a better action movie for you. And I was shit-stirring to a degree, but I wanted them to watch. I said, go watch this movie called Dragged Across Concrete. And they're like, really? It sounds mad. I'm like, yeah, it's better than Godzilla and Kong. Oh, the action. Have you seen Dragged Across Concrete?
No.
You will love it. It's 2.5 hours. It's a crime movie, but there's no score. It is so depressing. It is so downbeat and dour that the next day they're like, I'm going to kill you. Like, ooh, who won, Godzilla or Kong? Like, murder, death. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I just wanted you to watch it.
Maybe I've seen this film before.
Mel Gibson, Vince Vaughn.
Yeah, okay.
Have you seen Bone Tomahawk?
No.
Have you seen Brawl in Cell Block 99?
No.
Have you?
I haven't seen. This is totally foreign to me.
You need to see those films. It's this guy called S. Craig Zahler. He makes these very gritty, dirty, violent, angry movies that.
That's why I'm very surprised I haven't seen this.
I know, they hark back to the 70s, and they've got Vince Vaughn's in 2 of them, Mel Gibson's in the last one, and the first one's got Kurt Russell, and it's a western about cannibals. And I'm like, Ross has surely seen this.
I have not seen that, and I'm a Russell Crowe fan, man.
Kurt Russell. Close,
Kurt Russell. Oh, sorry.
Kurt Russell Crowe. He's a good man.
Kurt Russell Crowe. Okay.
Yeah. No, you need to see those 3 films, and he just makes them gritty, angry, down in the dirt.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, I know if it was Russell Crowe, I would have known.
Yeah,
surely.
No, you would know that one. No.
His 2 favourite films of mine are really lame, but
Which ones?
I love The Quick and the Dead.
That's one of my favourites too.
Love that movie.
Yeah.
I quote that movie all the time, actually.
Sam Raimi should make westerns all the time. He's destined for them.
It's got heroin at the helm, you know. Sharon Stone, Leo DiCaprio.
Yes.
He says one of the coolest lines in that film, which I think is awesome.
Yeah.
Is it possible to improve on perfection?
Yeah.
I love it.
That's a Sam Raimi line.
I love it. And I watched a Russell Crowe film today, actually. The Master and Commander.
That's a great movie.
Every time you watch it, it gets better.
Yeah.
Love it.
It's effortless. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, you don't... Every scene just happens so organically and so perfectly where you're like, oh, how the fuck are you doing this?
And just these anecdotes that are... Because it's like the whole scene is about, you know, him chasing this boat and chasing a Frenchman. Yes. Or being chased by a Frenchman and then chasing him. Mm-hmm. That's the backdrop. But all of these anecdotes that are in between, you know, and the whole tension between the doctor and the captain, and it's just really good.
That you forget the backdrop.
You forget the plot.
Yeah, you don't care why they're there as long as you're in the boat with them.
Yeah, I just want to be in the boat with them, and I want to keep seeing things.
Yep.
And when the cook comes in, he's always muttering under his breath. Just muttering, going, "Oh, here's your fucking thief."
Yeah.
And then you can see because there's all these things in the background. I realised today with this film.
Yes.
The cook's there because they've got to ration their alcohol, and the captain had his rum. He's going, "Yeah, you've done a good job. You can have my rum."
Yeah.
And does the rum, you know, and you could see that there was a camaraderie.
Yes, and it's just this quiet kindness between these guys.
It's not an overt version of it. There's no indulgence about it. They don't indulge in that. And but tell me more about these other films though. So what was the name of these films again?
Okay, first one's Bone Tomahawk. It was made for 1.7 mil, and everyone jumped on it because they love the writer. Mm-hmm. Bone Tomahawk has Kurt Russell, Richard Jenkins. Who else has it got? It's got Matthew Fox. It's got a bunch of actors. And it's a dirty, gritty, down-in-the-mud western where the town doctor's been kidnapped by cannibals. So they've got to go after her. And it's got one of the most violent deaths I've ever seen in a film in my entire life.
Wow.
And that's his most hopeful film. Because the next one is a prison riot film called Brawl in Cell Block 99, where Vince Vaughn has got a bald head and a tattoo of a cross on the back of his head.
This just sounds insane. I've never seen Vince Vaughn in anything like that.
He's insane, and then he goes to jail for killing these drug dealers, and they say to him, look, if we're going to kill your family unless you kill someone in Cell Block 99, where all the evil criminals go, the really bad ones.
Yeah.
So you got to get yourself to that cell block and kill this guy, or else we're going to kill your family. And it is so...
What a plot.
Yeah. And that was made for $3 million, and it's got Don Johnson in it, and it's got...
Gotta love Don Johnson.
Oh, he's the best.
I love Don Johnson.
He plays the warden, and he hates Vince. You gotta see this film, but they're so...
I can't believe I don't know anything about this.
I know, and then Dragged Across Concrete's the best one, where it's Mel Gibson, Vince Vaughn, who are disgraced cops going after these criminals, and it's 2.5 hours, and there's no score. The only music in it is from the 70s, like the OJs, and it's Motown music.
I like the meters, that sort of stuff. Yeah,
because it's all 70s grindhouse. The films that you would see in
I'm excited. I can't wait to get off this podcast so I can go watch these movies, man.
He's going to leave now. So what's your new film about Dragged Across Concrete?
Yeah. No, I'm going to go watch these movies.
Yeah.
I'll definitely get the details, all the details off you later. I mean, I've got to go watch these films. I'm intrigued. And there's two reasons I'm blown away. Is one, I don't know anything about it.
This is insane because they're you movies.
Totally. Yeah. I'm excited to hear about it. Like, even the titles are really cool. The fact that they don't have scoring or do have scoring, and that these violent acts and these plots, and the fact that it's a Western as well. I love Westerns.
Yeah, one's a Western, one's a prison movie, and one's a crime drama. And they're so depressing, but so violent, but so good. And there's no heroes or villains. Everyone's awful. But
it sounds like an old boy thing to me.
Old boy, it's more, I'm trying to think of a 70s example, like a film from the 70s that's really...
Bad Lieutenant?
Oh, Bad Lieutenant, yes! It's a lot like Bad Lieutenant.
Yeah, okay.
That's more nice, but imagine he describes these movies as the second film you'd see in a grindhouse double bill where you know nothing about it, and it's the film that they made for nothing, but it's the goriest and the most violent, but...
wow. Oh, dude.
You need to see his films.
Dude, I'll be getting onto this. I'm working from home tomorrow, so...
Yes, you are.
Actually, no, I think I'll take the day off. I'm pretty in bad shape.
I might watch it. I might feel worse.
I'll watch it to convalesce.
Please. Watch all three. That is the most depressing triple bill, but you'll be very happy after.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, I've got to talk to you more often about film advice, clearly.
Yes, please. I love recommending.
Because normally people go to me, they go, hey, Roscoe, I need to watch a movie. I go, what kind of movie do you want to watch? And then I'll give them a recommendation. Or I'll go, do you just want to forget the movie that you want to watch and you just want me to give you a movie to watch?
Yeah.
And usually they're upset.
I do that. Again, like my friends, Dragged Across Concrete, when they're talking about Godzilla and Kong. There's sadness, there's no fighting. I'm like, I'm really sorry. But that one kill was good. I'm like, yeah, all right, we're good.
No, indeed. Yeah. Oh, wow. But no, I had a really interesting day. What else did I watch today? I did a bit of space exploration. I watched the Apollo missions. They went through all the Apollo missions going to the moon. Because I'm really inspired lately. Because they announced recently that Elon Musk just got the contract to put a lander on the moon. So his company is contracted for that. And I just hope in our lifetime that we land on it. I hope we go to the moon in our lifetime.
Yeah.
Now, I'd like us to go to Mars.
Yeah.
Because, we're doing all these things, tensions between China and tensions between China and Russia and then their friends and then tensions between us. And now we've got tensions between us and America even.
Yes.
So much tension.
Everyone's fighting.
Yeah. And we're all fighting over the same thing where we can easily just share.
Yeah.
Or agree to disagree, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But what we should be doing is searching inner space and outer space together.
Yeah.
And I just... I think that's my coded message to legalise weed. But
Everyone watch Dragged Across Concrete. I don't know what he's talking about. No.
I disassociate myself with this conversation.
No, not at all. It's kind of interesting, all five of them. Yes.
Yeah, no, I just think we should be going into space, man. And we should have been there a long time ago. So I've been inspired to go back and watch the Apollo missions. And
did you watch Apollo 11? The documentary It's a documentary. It's 90 minutes, and it's all the footage they have of the moon landing. You watched that one?
Yeah, that's what I watched.
Apollo 11. Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah. They went through even the first guys that were on Apollo 1. They had that unfortunate accident where they had an over oxygen supply doing a routine test launch.
Yep.
It wasn't even like a proper launch. They were just going through their instrumentation, and they died, which is really terrible. But it just shows you the sacrifice that people go through and the links that we'll go through to go and explore to these places. But it's funny, I was talking about Master and Commander, and that's about, boats going across the ocean, flying on the wind, looking for new places, exploration.
Yes.
And that's what it's about, really.
Yeah.
I really enjoy that idea that we're all explorers at heart.
Yeah, and self-discovery in the interim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That inner search.
Yeah. That's almost greater than getting there. Like once you're on that boat, it's just them on the boat and they just discover how much they need each other and how much they want to be in each other's company, and we're the same. We almost don't care about the mission or what happens in the end of Master Man, just as long as we stay with them for another 3 hours. I'm like, that's a great movie. But that's the thing, though, like this whole, like most films about moon landings and space missions, it's them on the ship, interacting, conversing, knowing why they're there, what they're doing, and just discovering what they're doing all this for, and then once they get there, that's secondary.
Well, I've got to say, I think Neil Armstrong was pretty boss. So he was coming up in his lunar lander, and I think he had like 17 seconds of fuel to spare.
Oh, wow.
So, you know, because when they show you the footage, you can see the lander and the moon getting closer and closer and closer. And in the documentary, they put a counter of his fuel in real time.
Wow.
So you can see how his fuel's running out. Because he would be flying it, going, all right, so I've got, all right, that's the fuel. Yeah. That's my speed. This is my angle. And you'd be working all that, as a pilot, you'd be working all that out.
Yeah.
And then there's basically a timer ticking. Once that fuel's out, you're to the good grace of gravity. That's it.
That's insane. That's great.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, and it shows his heart rate too. Calm. Calm as, dude. Like, you're landing the first mission on the moon, and you're not breaking a sweat, and you've got this timer ticking over going, you got 17 seconds before you die. Get this right.
I want to see a movie do that well.
Yeah, I'd like to see that too, but I thought, it's funny you say that. I thought today, you know, I hope they should make a movie about all the equipment they currently have and all the speculated technology that they have.
Yeah.
There's plenty of literature out there on it, plenty of graphics. There's, you know, because you've got Boeing, you've got, Jeff Bezos, Blue Sky, is that what he's called? Blue Sky?
Yeah.
Obviously, SpaceX.
Yep.
And NASA and other agencies as well. And they're all working towards these modules that, you know, comprise the ISS and the replacement for the ISS, which is going to be coming up in the next decade. The lunar space station. So they're putting a space station around the moon.
Yeah.
They're putting a lunar station, so a station on the moon.
Yeah.
And that will be the launch site for Mars. Because it's easier to launch from the moon to go to Mars than it is from Earth to go to Mars, right? So they're going to establish these things, and they plan to do it in the next decade. Which,
see, why aren't we seeing stories about this, about the setup? Instead of space movies being about a mission, what about the setup to get to that mission, or the resources and the...
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
That would be a good movie.
I'm bringing it back to movies because I'm just like, you're ticking my brain over, going, ooh, I want to write that down.
Because I was thinking about all this, and I thought that would be a good movie.
Yeah. The only one that's come close is Ad Astra. Have you seen that? The Brad Pitt one?
Yeah, I didn't mind that.
It's an odd movie. It's very odd, but...
It's, unconventional in its plot design.
It's very plot design, but it's funny that you see... They try and focus on that. Like, they have to go to the docking station, which then takes you to Mars, and then the forms you have to fill out to get to Mars, and the tests, and I'm like, that's more
And the Moon Pirates. I was very happy with the Moon Pirates.
That's studio interference. That's like, I don't care if this guy's trying to find his dad. Bring the Moon Pirates in.
Yeah, no, we need your car, man. Yeah. We need your car bad.
You know what's funny?
Hope you got water.
The guy who made that film makes some of the most amazing films I've ever seen. His name's James Gray. Have you seen We Own the Night?
No. Oh, yes, no, I have seen this.
Same guy.
Okay.
Yeah. He makes moody dramas about people making mistakes and trying to come back from those mistakes. And I'm like, wow, this guy's making a space movie? I'm in.
Yeah.
And then when they interviewed him, they said, what was it like making a space movie? It was hard. And they said, what about the Moon Pirates? Look, next question. You can see Fox said, listen, this feeling stuff, it's nice, but we want to see the Moon Pirates.
Yeah, no, the Moon Pirates was really cool.
It was interesting. It just came out of nowhere. By the way, Moon Pirates. Fair enough.
Yeah. But, you know, their weapons, these potential energy weapons that they're shooting at each. It was really cool.
Yeah, no, it's cool.
It's how I would imagine a moon pirate to be, and just to define a moon pirate makes me happy.
Yes.
But the moon is so established now; it has its own crime syndicate.
Yeah, you'd think there'd be a movie about moon pirates, like this renegade moon pirates.
Well, it's kind of like when I watched years and years ago, and you watch it again, Aliens, right? So you got Ripley; she's on a space station. And when they go to get her out of this space station to convince her to go to this other planet, there's graffiti on the walls, there's garbage, in the space station, because when you think space station, you think clean, you think NASA, you think this cutting edge thing, but she was living in the ghettos, in space, and I thought that's really cool. That's a really cool concept.
Now, can I detour this conversation to talk about Alien quickly, because I don't want to spend too much time on it, but there is a running joke with me.
Okay.
And it was in uni.
Is this a Godzilla thing?
It's worse. There was a thing in class where they said, "What's your favorite Alien film? And what's the one you think doesn't work?" I think Aliens doesn't work. I think Aliens is the worst one by miles and country miles. And
oh, wow.
And I've said it's a Motley Crue music video with more money. And I said that as a joke, which it kind of is. The ship's a gun. I'm like, leave me alone. I'm out. And then, but I think Alien 3's the best one. And they're like, I hate you so much.
Why would you say that?
Because it's great. Because it's a great film.
Don't get me wrong, I like Alien 3.
Yeah.
In fact, Misty, she's a big Alien 3 fan.
Really? Yeah. Oh, it's fantastic.
Yeah, she's a big Alien 3 fan.
Yeah.
But, you know.
No, Alien 3's the one. And it's so, again, dragged across concrete syndrome, where someone shows me Godzilla and Kong, I'm like, watch the depressing Mel Gibson film where everyone has feelings and sadness. And it's like that with me, where it's like, I don't watch the Motley Crue video, let's go to Alien 3. Sorry, I had to bring that up because that was funny, and I had a whole class of writers going, you're a fucking liar, you're just stooging. I'm like, I'm really not, I really love Alien 3, but...
Well, wait, was it the script?
No, it's the mood and the atmosphere.
Because it is darker. It is a lot darker.
It's so dark, and it's the idea of what happens when you introduce the alien creature, which we all know of and we're all aware of, in a atmosphere and a setting that's even more depressing than the creature itself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and as well, it was spawned from a dog, and it had the features of a dog.
Exactly.
And okay, you're bringing me across.
And then the idea of, before we even get to the alien, you have prisoners considered the worst people on the planet, talking about humanity and how...
Well, they're literally the worst people on that planet.
Exactly. And it's and they're the ones that are the most philosophical. The alien hasn't even come up yet, and they're talking about how human existence works and how human behavior works and how you make bad choices and how do you come back from that. And I'm like,
well, Ripley was the alien, because they're like, what are we going to do with this woman amongst us? You know, because they were a brotherhood of convicts. It wasn't even a prison; it was a shut down prison.
Yeah. Exactly, that's great.
It was the remnants of an old prison.
Exactly, that's great.
Where the inmates were so institutionalized, they're like, no, we live here now.
Yeah, and they're borderline philosophers because all they've had to do is spend time with their thoughts. I'm like, this is everything. And again, it does hark back to the Master and Commander thing, and it does hark back to talking about the journey of getting to see creatures that look like dogs is far more interesting than the creature itself. Again, aliens...
And they didn't shoot it with a pulse rifle.
No.
It was covered in lead and exploded from, a quick change in temperature. I think that's what they were going for.
Probably.
I don't think that would actually work, though.
Probably not. At that point, I'm like, oh, how philosophical. You're like, that doesn't work.
Yeah, they're breaking the laws of physics. Okay, they didn't travel at the speed of light, Ross. Let's just calm down.
And as someone who didn't like Aliens, to open with the main characters getting killed, I was like, ooh, this is good.
Yeah.
When that happened, I was like, what a film. Fincher, you've done it again.
It is pretty depressing. You're like,
I know.
Because when you go to Alien 3, you're like, okay. Ripley and what was his name? It wasn't Kyle Reese. That's Terminator.
No, but
Hicks.
Yeah.
Corporal Hicks.
That's the one.
So you're like, oh, Corporal Hicks and Ripley are going to be a thing.
Yeah.
They've got their surrogate daughter.
Yeah.
And they're going to go and take on these space bad guys, and they're gonna forge ahead. No, you're disappointed within the first 30 seconds.
No, disappointed is the wrong word. I marathon them. That's how I saw them for the first time. I watched them all back to back.
Oh wow!
And then saw Aliens, and then when that ending happened, I'm like, oh fuck off. I'm not saying that. I'm just meaning like these are. Yes, of course. These are evil creatures. They are terrifying. They're scary. Like, don't have a nice little, yay, we made it. It took a while, but we got there. And then I was like, fuck off. And then when it opens with the next one, I'm like, who did this?
This is one of the deepest analogies I've ever heard about aliens ever.
Oh, it's great. Alien 3's a pipe dream. Aliens is a pipe dream. Alien 3 is like ooh, I like this. I'm sorry, it was bad. But then I said that in a class, and then everyone at my uni was like, "You're lying."
But you're an unconventional dude. Let's just get down to brass tacks.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah. And I mean that as a compliment.
No, I know. Well, I hope so. If it was an insult, I'd be like, "Thank you."
Thank you. I'm glad to disturb you.
Yeah. And even Alien Resurrection, I have a very soft spot for.
Yeah, oh no, look, I remember you told me a story last time you were on the show about your experience at air quotations film school.
Yeah, for 3 hours. And the next school I went to made fun of me for Aliens. I'm like, there's no winning. Yes, about Smoking Aces. Yeah,
Smoking Aces, because that was another movie I thought that was pretty damn good.
It's great.
But I watched one that reminded me of that. It was a Guy Ritchie film recently. Matthew McConaughey, The Gentleman. I didn't mind the aesthetics in that film. It's a standard formula though. It is. This formula was pretty standard, but I didn't mind the ride.
I have one thing about Guy Ritchie because I have a love-hate relationship with him. I think Rock and Roll is his best film.
Again, his darkest film.
No, I think it's his sweetest film. I think it's his most affectionate. Because the lead character...
The guy smoking ice the entire way through the film.
Yes. However, you start to like that man.
You do.
You start to like him and you start to hate Tom Wilkinson, his father.
His stepfather, yeah.
And you see that shift where you're judging the guy smoking ice, but you're thinking the guy with the suit is cool. But the idea is that...
And it turns out he's a rat.
Yeah, he's a rat, and he's a piece of shit. Whereas the one who's smoking ice, Armstrong, the right-hand man... Sorry, this is a spoiler, but it's a great
We've been spoiling the whole way. We're good.
Oh, yeah, we have too. The Alien series, you're going to love it.
If you haven't done the marathon, recommend it.
Oh, please do. You're going to love Alien 3 a lot more. I need some more people on my side. With Rock and Roller, though, that is an idea of... I like that film where the idea of Mark Strong, the right-hand man, has a soft spot and a love for this guy.
Yeah.
And that's emphasized a lot. Everyone who's nice in that film, or remotely nice, but is considered a piece of shit or bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, the famous
sweet and lovely.
Whereas and even his violence was given a good akin to a good relationship. So the Ritchie backhander.
Yes, exactly. And it's very sweet and very funny. And I think Ritchie's better at that than he is serious and violence. Whereas I think The Gentleman's a nasty film.
Really?
I thought it was really nasty. Like, I'm the opposite. I thought Gentleman was like seething and biting, and he doesn't like.
Yeah, no, I liked it. The one scene that I don't know why it keeps coming back into my head.
Yes,
the opening scene, not before he gets, because you think he gets shot in the head at the start. Spoilers, I know, but he asks for a pint
and a
pickled egg.
Yeah,
I just love it.
Yeah,
I like because he's. Guy Ritchie's plugging his own beer, which is fine because he does the pour forward. But when they place that egg down in the pint, I thought, what a great fucking shot.
Yeah.
I just thought, this is such an aesthetic. It's just so...
Yeah.
It ties in different times.
Yeah.
It ties in the present.
Yes.
It's just something about it. The porcelain. They put this egg in the porcelain, and it's this neat thing that's dirty, that's clean. That's an old school tradition being brought back.
Yeah, the idea of old versus new is that entire film until halfway through he tells the new to get fucked. Well, no, not even halfway. It's 15 minutes in. I'm like, all right, I know the film I'm seeing. Whereas Rock and Roll, again, but that's kind of the thing of Rock and Roll too, where it's like the people of the lower socioeconomic status and the ones who look a little bit grimy are the ones to look out for and the ones to look after, whereas the ones at the top are the ones to loathe and hate, and they're going to backstab you. And no.
Well, the other scene I liked about The Gentleman is when I must say Hugh Grant did
he's the best thing about it.
He's the best thing about it, definitely.
Yeah.
When he starts talking about how, and he gives all these spoilers about filmmaking. He's like, I want to tell this story. And not by 4:3, not 16:9, but by 2:35 by 1.
Yeah,
and
35 millimeter, and
35 millimeter anamorphic.
Yeah, when he said that, all my friends turned to me and said, "We didn't know you helped write a Guy Ritchie film." I'm like, fuck off. They didn't shoot this on film. Let's not get too excited.
Yeah, and then they do these textual changes in it, and the way that he's such a greasy, ugly person.
Yeah,
I just love his ugliness has beauty to it.
I agree.
Yeah, and that's the part I really liked about the film.
I think that saves the film. I think Hugh Grant's character is the most complex, but he exists because Guy Ritchie's going against the media, and I'm like, oh man, just make a character. Like, stop saying fuck you to people. Well, tell a movie.
Well, spoiler alert. I just don't know what it is with Brit filmmakers and fucking pigs. I just don't know why they keep doing this.
I don't know either.
Change it up, make it a sheep. I don't know.
Yeah. But still a reboot of The Gentleman coming very soon.
Yeah, but for the last 20 years, we've been dealing with Brits fucking pigs.
I know.
Whether it's Black Mirror, whether it's... it wasn't so much fucking pigs in... Snatch. It was about pigs eating people.
Yeah, but the pigs are considered disgusting, and they're eating people, and he's talking about pulling teeth. Like, it's all just an ugly image of pigs and people. And
yeah, I don't know why they keep going there.
I don't know.
It's just a recycled thing that just needs to stop, okay? Please. Just stop it with the pigs.
When that bit happened, I was at the point where I'm like this going, it's been an hour of this, fucking get on with it.
Yeah, no, it does do that. That's what I said, it has a standard Guy Ritchie formula.
Yep.
But the things that I really liked about it was the opening scene with that pickled egg.
I agree.
And Hugh Grant.
Well, I don't think it improves from there. I think that look and that setting and that setup is perfect. And then they go...
It's funny to say that I've actually watched it several times and I stopped watching it after that scene.
That's fair. I stopped watching it after the 35mm because they shoot it digitally and it's not done very well. I'm like, oh, sorry, I don't mean to be bad.
Garbage. Why aren't they shooting in...
Garbage.
Yeah. Why wouldn't they shoot that in film, though? They even go to the Miramax headquarters. You think they would, right?
I know. I think Guy Ritchie likes digital.
Yeah.
Have you seen Man from U.N.C.L.E.?
Yes, I've seen that.
That's great.
That's pretty good.
Again, I think he does light and funny and sweet a lot better than he does dark and heavy and...
Yeah, when he's trying to put his Tarantino boots on.
Yeah.
But I think...
Also, I think Revolver's underrated, but that's not...
I love Revolver.
Can we cheers?
Yeah. I love...
No, that's him trying something different. So I'm like, thank God we're going...
Love Revolver.
Yeah,
the subtext in that is just boss.
I know.
The whole... all of the Easter eggs through that film.
Yes. Yeah.
The Easter eggs through that film are amazing, and they're talking basically, and they even do this deconstruction during the credits, which is really good because it makes you feel a little bit smarter. You're like, oh yeah, I get what they're saying there, I get it. Oh, thank you, Siri. Every show, mate, every show. No, but they talk about what is the ego, and that's what that whole thing is about. Yeah. What is the ego? And I really, really enjoyed it. And Ray Liotta, I don't think he wears clothes the entire show. He's always in Speedos and he's... Then
you got Andre 3000 also not wearing clothes at one point in a jacuzzi. I'm like, I love this film.
Yeah, all these angled cock shots of Ray Liotta.
But that's what I mean. Like, Guy Ritchie has this homoerotic tone throughout his films. Then Revolver, he went peak, and I'm like, Guy, keep it up. And he didn't. He went the opposite direction. He went back to the gentleman. I'm like, no, do Revolver again. That was weird.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, no, that's on my shelf over there somewhere. Revolver's in there.
I probably saw that when we're going to talk about movies.
We're going to talk about movies.
I know we're meant to talk about projects, but let's talk movies for a little bit.
No, we'll talk movies a little bit. Let's actually, this is a good transition. That's a great segue. Let's jump right into it.
All right.
I got the pleasure of watching some of your outtakes, not outtakes, but
rushes, bits and pieces.
Yeah, bits and pieces of your film today. I must say, absolutely superb. Great storyline. I don't want to spoil it too much.
Yes, thank you.
But the texture in it, I know it hasn't been color graded or anything like that, but the texture was fantastic. But just to get to the nuts and bolts, it's a film called Refused.
Classification.
So refused classification.
Yeah.
Okay. And that you brought up a lot of, like, as I said, can't do any too many spoilers about it. Yeah. This is a film about... Well, what will you tell me what the film's about?
It's about censorship. It's about film censorship, and my theory, and almost everyone else's theory at this point, of film censorship is censoring adults, not children.
It is.
It is.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I've never heard it put that way.
It's the idea of, keeping kids away from harmful content, but at the same time, but they say that's what it is, and then in theory, when you look at what they censor and the comparisons, it really is about pushing forward a very tame, safe, very same image of the world, and it's quite limiting. And then it kind of, when you look at it, it kind of reveals why a lot of films look a similar way, why they act and operate in a similar way, and blah blah blah.
Well, what do you think the motivation behind that is? Because look, well, just to bring my credential into it.
Yes, please.
So I've done classification courses in Australia. I think some of your film was focusing on. There was American standards in there, and
it's American standards. Yeah.
American standards you were basing it off, but they're very similar. They are very similar. Because you talk about in that film NTSC, no, not NTSC. NC-17.
NC-17, yeah.
NC-17.
Which is our R18+.
Yeah, well, there is a further category in Australia for this, and they will call it triple. If it doesn't hit R, it's triple X. So if you did a gory film, I'm not talking about anything that's, because when you think triple X, you think pornography.
Yes.
I'm not talking about that.
Yeah.
I'm talking about things that go beyond an R rating. It is given a triple X rating. So if you did like a scene, just a whole movie, and it's called Decapitation Frenzy, and the whole film was just decapitating people, and you get see spray offs of different versions of how you can decapitate people.
Yeah, they
would go, yeah, no, that's XXX.
That's MA. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, but you know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely.
So you could be labelled as a XXX film, even though it contains no sex at all. Isn't that insane?
That's pretty insane. However, one thing I did want to emphasize with the movie and with censorship in general, the relationship of sex and violence and the idea of which is scarier, sex or violence, and which one has more harm, sex or violence. And mind you, to put more context into this, violence, you know, going back to this XXX thing and going back to ratings, when you shoot someone in a film, if they don't bleed, it's PG. If they bleed, it's R. Because the idea is if you show the consequences of violence in the real life, things that happen when someone gets hurt or killed, and it's not fun and it's not stylish, it's R. Kids can't watch that. If it's stylish, they can see it. Yeah. That's same, but with sex, no matter what it is, it's if sex is in a film, it's closer to M, MA, R, Australian ratings, more so R in America. But then if sex is fun, it comes closer to an R and a XXX and an NC-17. Yeah. So I don't know. I didn't mean to butt in there because you're talking about the idea of XXX for violence, but it's often sex. And when you watch a film, if you watch a foreign film, I'll use the Australian context. If you go onto SBS on a Friday night at midnight and you watch
it's interesting you bring this up. I'm not going to push
yeah. I know, because I want to come back. I wanted to segue into that too. If you go, like everyone makes the joke, SBS, After Dark, blah, 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 watch those films.
Recommend it, by the way.
Yes, please do. And then go watch Godzilla vs. Kong, or a film that's M that everyone, the masses are watching. Avengers, any of the Avengers. Tell me, realistically, in a real world scenario, which is worse? Multiple people being murdered, or sex being even referenced. Let's go tame, like just sex being talked about, or people. There was one thing I heard, and I hope it's real. I think it is. People talking during sex is closer to an R than it is an M.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that would, because then you're introducing adult themes.
Yes.
So those adult themes will push it across.
Yeah.
There's two ways I'll go with that. So for instance, on SBS in Australia. Yeah. You could see a dude with an erection being blown by a chick. Yes. And they'll refer to this in classification, not to get too graphic, but this is the wording they use.
No, please do, go.
It's called making a seal. If you make a seal in a film, basically whether it's genital connection or mouth to genital connection, if a seal is made, which is strange because then in heterosexual sex, a woman is then referred to as a seal. Yes. Which is weird.
Misogynist.
It's fucking weird. Yeah. I don't know how to process that, but that's the terminology. If a seal is made, then it can't be rated within the rating system. However, it can be rated if it has a artistic merit. And if you think about that phrase, artistic merit, that is a weird, broad spectrum thing, because that means that is subjective.
Yeah, has to bring subjectivity when...
Because what you consider art may be different from what I consider art.
Yes.
And therefore, you could shoehorn anything. Yeah. Poor phrase there. But...
you did work for the classification board. Yes.
Yeah, sorry, but you could bolt anything onto that. Yeah. And... you could then have things that would be classified by any normal standard of somebody as pornography and put it on the telly. Yeah. And they have done so. There is films out there where someone, air quotations, has made a seal and it has been on TV. Yeah. Now that is mind-blowing. If you can put that on, but then you go, well, I can't have someone laying in a pool of blood. Yeah. Because, but if you change the colour of that blood... Yeah. Then it's okay. Another example I'll bring into this is why I feel this is a very important conversation, and it's strange that you say, not strange, but it really resonates. Yeah. That it's talking about censoring adults. Yes. Because this is about, protecting children, per se, right? But if you were to truly protect children, if you took a movie like Saving Private Ryan, which has graphic violence in it, you see people's intestines. Yeah. They're doing the Beach of Normandy, which is based on true events. But if you could watch something like Universal Soldier, where you see this undead, invincible man which is unrealistic. Going through murdering 100 people personally, that's rated M, but Saving Private Ryan is rated R.
Yeah.
And you would think if, in order to protect children, you want the message to go across that, well, this thing's impossible.
Yeah.
And you don't want to encourage someone to, for instance, get an automatic rifle and walk into a public space and shoot 100 people.
Yes.
Because that's unrealistic.
Yeah.
Or show this war scene where you go, war is ugly. This is an ugly thing, but it's honest. It's an honest reflection. And I just find that very hypocritical.
Well, yeah, that's what I meant before, of like the consequence of violence. And the fact that you have to use a phrase, consequence of violence, is troubling, because there always a consequence of the violence. But the thing of films, especially Godzilla vs. Kong, Avengers, I don't mean to use them, but they are the staple where droves will see it.
Well, that's the zeitgeist of the time.
Yeah, and everyone will see it. Kids are like, children will be filling out that cinema. To tell them when you kill someone, they just fall on the ground and that's it. There's blood's not a thing unless it's a little bit here, or that there's no real pain involved. That's insanity. Fun one. Someone asked me this, and I still stand by my answer. If I were to show my 13-year-old Orgasmo, which got an R18 plus and almost refused classification, hilarious fucking film, and it's not unrealistic about sex. It's not at all. It's just making light of it, and it's making it funny and enjoyable in a weird way.
Stunt cock was pretty funny.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
but it is making sex kind of fun and like funny to look at and talk about, and but it's a comedy. Or would I show them, what was the example I got? Some film that just passed with an M. I can't remember. Let's say Universal Soldier. I'll show them Orgasmo 10 times rather than Universal Soldier, because the idea of that sex is terrifying but violence is fun as long as you don't show that it has real life consequences is a very weird, ugly scenario to me. And one more, which I'll give it because it's the one that inspired the film. Boys Don't Cry and American Pie. Did not mean to rhyme that.
It did work out well, though.
I know. Boys Don't Cry, American Pie. That's my new film, by the way. They both got rated the same week. Boys Don't Cry got a NC-17. They said, no, you can show it in 30
wasn't
theaters.
It was frontal nudity for that one, was it?
No, it's because a woman was enjoying an orgasm.
No, but I think they just showed a bit of pubes.
That got an R.
No, but it was just from the sound.
It was from
or was it an angle looking down?
Overhead shot of a woman enjoying an orgasm, and it just had this sweet music. It was very romantic, and it's her enjoying she's reaching an orgasm for the first time. You don't see the orgasm you don't see the specifics of it. You just see her enjoying it. That got an NC-17. American Pie, the entire thing, everything you saw of it.
Dude fucked a pie.
Yes. Fine. Not a problem. Dude snuck a camera and, pulling a Porky's and looking at a woman getting changed. That was fine. Kids can watch that. Not a problem. Boys Don't Cry.
You can't. No, Porky's should have been an R, surely.
No. Porky's was an R at the time. But what I'm saying is, I think Porky's and American Pie are almost more damaging than Boys Don't Cry. Where Boys Don't Cry, for that.
Yeah, I see your point.
Do you know what I mean? Like, a woman having an orgasm is a 13, 15-year-old can't see that.
Well, it's very current about what you're talking about as well, by the way.
Yeah.
If you look at recently, the Australian government pulled content off their websites in reference to education in consent.
Yes.
And it was done in this
milkshake,
and the taco.
Yes.
And I watched some of this content. You're like, this is absolutely ridiculous
and baffling and
confusing. Yeah. Like, as an adult, I understand what consent means, and I watched some of that stuff going, I don't even know what that means.
Yeah.
Like, you look at that content, you don't know what it means. And then I started to think about, where does the motivation come from? Because they spent $4 million on that.
I know.
$4 million.
I know. They shot it digitally too.
Sorry. Yeah. They shot it on digital cameras, these assholes. How dare they?
They couldn't even shoot a real...
They could have done it on a 16mm. I could have done it for 30,000.
Let's do 70 in a roadshow. Sorry. Continue.
I'm just saying, man, like, if they chucked even our region $500,000, it would change our life.
Yeah.
It would change our life. So they spent $4 million on this garbage. And obviously, I think it came from... I'm only speculating, by the way, but it came from a place of conservatism where they think, well, we've got to talk about sex. Yeah. We've got to talk to sex and then consent with these kids. But we can't talk about sex while talking about sex. So what we're going to do is these metaphors.
Yeah.
So they come up with this crazy harebrained scheme to get a complex narrative across where, like, if you're a 12-year-old with a phone with a parent that doesn't understand technology, you have instant access to some of the most gratuitous content ever known to man.
Yeah.
And you're trying to explain to kids about consent through milkshakes.
Yeah.
I think that's what we're dealing with here. When you're talking about classification and conservatism, I think that's a problem. I think another problem that adds to that is obviously a commercial interest as well. You need to look at Boys Don't Cry. What company made it versus what company made American Pie?
Yeah.
And I think if you follow the money.
There's a follow the money system, absolutely.
And if you're not one of the big five, and if you're an independent film, you're going to get a higher rating.
Yeah.
Regardless.
Well, those videos, it is funny you say that because it does, I think, pertain to Boys Don't Cry and American Pie, again, but for one big reason, which is those videos proved that they're shielding these companies and these... anything that's anything that's made something that's referencing something to do with sex, they want to shield kids from sex because they're afraid of it.
Yeah, this conservative idea.
But it is conservative because the idea of a woman reaching an orgasm and having a really beautiful moment is real, and that's a direct reference to sex. Someone having sex with a pie is not a real reference to sex. It's a joke, and it's like, great, not a problem. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but is it a male-female thing as well? Because it's a man that's doing that versus a woman.
And in the milkshake video, it's a woman, the woman who's instigating the crossing the line aspect when it's been proven that it's like we really got to instill that in man and really talk about consent with man. But again, it has
just find it back to front.
Exactly, it's the idea of instilling backward gender politics of let's censor women or make them the ones that are the perpetrators, as opposed to the ones who are either the victims or the ones that either enjoy or experience sex.
That's just odd though.
It's odd
because the rest of us, right? The most of us live in the center. Whether you're a left voter, you're still towards the center. Whether you're a right voter, most of us are still to the center. And when I say us, I don't mean me, because I don't know. I'm politically fluid.
I know.
Let's just put it that way. Like, it depends what's going on at the time, where I sit on that spectrum. But I'm definitely someone that is a centrist.
Yeah.
Do I believe that we should be making money any which way we can as a fair business and opportunity? Yeah, absolutely. Should we cut down every tree to do so? No, probably not.
Yeah.
So there's your extremes there, right? So I sit in the middle of all that. I'm a believer in people should own guns.
Yeah.
Which is a controversial idea.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah.
But should women have reproductive rights? Hey, man, it's their body.
Yeah.
And that's conflicting on its own. Just those two statements are conflicting.
Well, it's funny that you said that, and it's funny that you brought that up because that's with the movie. Again, I'm talking about a movie that you don't know much about. I apologize, but everything we're talking about, it's all in there.
It'll be out soon.
Yes, very soon, I hope. Oh, we need a grade to mix. Anyway, but
just get it done by October, man. You'll be right.
I'm trying. But yeah, the thing was, I hope Liverpool event cinemas can play 35 prints. Anyway, that's another story. But no. What I wanted to bring up was what you just said. The point I wanted to make, or we wanted to make when making the film, was as in censoring adults, in censoring no matter what your political side is, no matter what your thoughts are. Imagine having the same framework and the same the same perspective, and that you've seen the same movie 100 times because you weren't allowed to see something different. You were told you're not allowed to see something different. Adults have to fight to go watch Boys Don't Cry, but they can go watch American Pie easily. And it's like, what if I saw Boys Don't Cry and it changed my perspective on something? What if I saw the film that had sexuality from a female's perspective that was a wide release that I could easily see and it changes my mind on something? It's the idea of we don't want to change your mind. We want you to stick with the same viewpoint, the same perspective. And I think if you're limiting perspectives, you're fucking everything up, no matter your political
maybe it's out of fear.
I think it's fear. It's fear of sex. It's fear of sexuality, female sexuality especially. The milkshake thing, those videos, come on.
Oh, man, I just can't think of a dart that was thrown at a dartboard that hit the ocean. Like, it just fucking missed. Like, it wasn't even the same room.
It really isn't. I watched it, and you know what? I watched it just
$4 million!
Before we get to that, I know.
$4 million!
I'm trying not to cry on camera. What happened was,
as a filmmaker, that guts you. $4 million fucking dollars, man.
Because it's a tax write-off. When you said that,
it's our fucking money.
Exactly. They didn't come to us. Of course they didn't, because we'd make something good. They don't want good. They don't want to reference sex. They want, you have a milkshake and I have a milkshake. They should have used There Will Be Blood the last 10 minutes. That is a better reference point for consent, and it's two men beating each other. Not in the way you think. But yes.
Beating each other up.
Okay.
Up.
Everyone's going, I'm going to watch There Will Be Blood. I'm like, you're going to be disappointed.
They beat each other off at the end of the film. I've got to see the film.
American Pie, There Will Be Blood. Ooh, these films. I'm like, no, it's not what you think. But do you know what I mean? Where it's like they will spend so much money just to tax write this thing off because they don't care about it.
But it's also about controlling narratives, though, Ryan.
Exactly.
It's about controlling the narrative.
But that's censorship. The idea of boys don't cry. Adults are going to have to fight really hard to see it, and kids shouldn't watch it, whereas American Pie, go for your life. Controlling a narrative. Sexuality from a male perspective, which is silly and clownish, great. So I keep repeating those two examples, but it's
valid, though, dude. It's totally valid. But what you're saying is very valid, like, and it falls into a lot of other arenas as well. Like, I've said this on the show before, like, you can go to a skydiving company. You can go, here's $300, strap me to your body, and jump out of this perfectly good aeroplane. They go, yeah, great, but you need to sign this bit of paper here in case it doesn't work out, okay? Because it's like 1%, we do 100 jumps, and one of them doesn't work out. Yeah.
If you land on a sword convention, we can't help you.
Sometimes the chute doesn't open. Sometimes, wind gusts pick up and you land in power lines. All kinds of bad shit can happen when you jump out of a perfectly good aeroplane.
Yes.
But the government goes, well, if you sign the waiver, that's fine. Can you go buy a stick of weed? No. Because you can't make that adult decision. We've made that decision for you.
Yeah.
Because that's bad.
Yeah.
Even though you could go to a supermarket and buy all the Panadols that your heart desires, and you can swallow them all. That's an adult decision. I don't recommend it. It's probably a bad decision to make, but it would fucking kill you. That would fucking kill you. Panadols can kill you.
Yeah.
You can get them for $2.
Yeah.
Right? $2 for sale. Here we are drinking beer. An adult decision that we've made.
Yeah.
To do that. When I went to go see Pulp Fiction, I was 15 years old. And I had to sneak into that movie. I had a great cunning plan, by the way. It was a really good plan. So I just needed to get in. So I walked in like I owned the joint. And I had my mates. And I figured out that in the cinema that I was doing it in.
Which one? Oh, no, that's a stupid question. But I just want to know.
They're not technically a sponsor, because they were the older version of it. But it was Greater Union, Campbelltown.
Oh, fuck yeah. Okay, good.
All right,
okay,
so it's Greater Union.
Picture better, yeah.
The Greater Union at Campbelltown, but the older Greater Union. Not the new one, Event Cinemas there.
Yeah.
It's the older Greater Union, right? And they had the wheelchair access, and I figured out the wheelchair access, which is a hallway which connects all of the cinemas, and all of the doors are unlocked. But all you need to do is get in there. Once you're in there, it's free access. So what I did was I snuck into the movie, went out the wheelchair access, went to the lift, and called up the lift.
Yeah.
And got all my mates up, and then we all get to watch Pulp Fiction. Right, so I had to sneak into Pulp Fiction to watch it. And that was a 15-year-old's decision.
Yeah.
Right? It didn't affect my life, where, I had to go steal motorbikes and go be a crazy person that's shooting heroin and becoming a hitman.
Yes.
I enjoyed that movie. I went and enjoyed that movie. That wasn't a decision that I'd made. It didn't fuck me up, But I guess my point is that you can make these decisions, and there is risk involved in every decision you make.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what it is. Here we are drinking beer. We could step up from here and trip the fuck over.
Yeah.
And that's your fault for drinking the beer.
Yep.
Right? But they would argue that children can't make these decisions for themselves.
Yeah.
And what I resonate with what you're saying is they're treating adults like children.
Yeah, they are.
They're censoring adults because they want to control the narrative.
Yeah.
Another example to wear my tinfoil hat, if I may. is when they were releasing streaming services. So you remember before Netflix, we used to, especially in Australia, we had a culture of illegally downloading films.
Yes.
And the reason for it was a matter of access. When you boil it down, is because they would release a film in the States and would have to wait 3 months to see it in Australia.
6 months, a year. Some never ever got released.
Some never even got here.
Yeah.
So the way that you find these films is on the glorious internet.
Yeah.
And that was through, it started with LimeWire.
Yes.
Very slow. Miss your LimeWire. But
I don't. My computer doesn't either. Sorry.
Sorry, LimeWire.
Yeah, exactly.
But, exit LimeWire. Welcome Kick-Ass Torrents.
Yep.
Welcome Pirate Bay. Mm-hmm. And when it became too cumbersome, because after a while you got too many fucking movies on your computer. So you go, well, I just want to stream them. Enter Putlocker. Enter letmewatchthis.com.
Yeah.
So these
you were dropping a lot of links for...
No, I can't do it anymore. You can't do it anymore. Well, you can.
I didn't know that. I did a little bit because I was trying to watch... Sorry, go
well,
ahead.
Look. You could stream movies. I was streaming movies because I was a uni student, couldn't afford to pay for a streaming service. And in fact, there wasn't actually a substitute. You couldn't buy a streaming service at that point. You could either download it or stream it or buy the DVD. And the cool thing, the thing that you've looked at my DVD collection. That's about 1/4 of it. The rest of it's in the garage because I've got no shelving space, right?
Yeah.
I'd watch a movie on these illegal streaming services, and I'd go, "That's a good fucking movie."
Yeah.
I'll go buy it.
Well, that was a funny statistic because I knew a lot of people who were downloading. I did download a few films art house films that I couldn't go in and see. I couldn't go to Dendy Newtown and go to an R18 film, which I did, but I'll tell you about that in a sec because it does tie into the film. Sorry. But what happened was there were films we weren't getting. They weren't releasing Southland Tales, one of my all-time favourite fucking movies.
Good fucking movie, man.
My favourite movie.
Love that movie.
We're going to talk at nauseum about that film.
All right. Let's put a pin in that.
Sorry.
We'll come back. We'll come back.
But the idea was that they did a test on it, and the people who were downloading films were the ones more likely to go see them in cinemas when they finally did get a release, and when they came to DVD, because they were the ones that loved movies so much that they were wanting to see them sooner just so they can buy the DVD. Or does that make sense? Like
totally.
The ones who are downloading, they're like, oh, they're terrible. It's like, yeah, but they're the ones who are buying the DVDs. I'm not promoting piracy. I'm talking about us waiting 6 months for a film from the US to get here.
It was about access.
Yeah, we had to wait, and we didn't have money. And it's like, but when we saw it, we'd spend the $30 we had instead of on food. We'd go to JB Hi-Fi or go to Easy DVD, and I have a similar collection. And I started watching these art house films that I couldn't see or we never got. So
yeah, I've got films that you can't even get on the internet. Oh
goddamn!
Yeah, I do, man. But you chase these things down as collectibles. Like I like to own the cover. I don't just like to own the DVD. I like to own the cover as well. I love the cover.
Yeah.
It reminds me of people that collect vinyl. Like people collect vinyl. I collect DVDs, man. And now we've got all these streaming services out there. But I guess just to get back to my point, you had all these streaming. Don't be sorry, Chris. So you have all these streaming services. Putlocker, letmewatchthis.com.
Yeah.
Basically, a whole library of the entire world's catalogue of films.
Yeah.
For free. If you just knew how to do a little bit of computer trickery, you could go and watch them.
Yeah.
Netflix was released. No one stopped it. Like, Netflix is out. I still couldn't afford Netflix at the time, so I didn't buy it. Someone gave me a login, and I ended up getting it. But, and then you could have the VPN. You could have the full Netflix catalogue.
Yes.
You can't do that at the moment because they've blocked the VPN. All right? Mm-hmm. This comes into my next point about it. As soon as Fox Now, you know what Fox Now is? You probably don't because you don't own it because no one bought it.
Yeah. No.
Thanks, Siri. Would you like to buy Fox Now?
Fox Now, it's not real.
Fox Now, you can buy it. You just press OK. Put in your credit card. Yeah. Fox Now is a video on demand service produced by Foxtel, obviously, or the Fox network.
Yeah.
As soon as they released that, they blocked every illegal streaming service in Australia. So while Netflix and Stan was running, didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
As soon as Fox releases it, they went to extreme efforts to block every single site except for Netflix and Stan. And then you think about that. You go, why would they not do it for Netflix? Because they don't work for us.
Yeah.
They work for someone else.
Yeah.
They work for themselves. They've been running at a loss for 6 years. They're going to fail anyway, but they're still here. But I guess my point is that it's about controlling the narrative.
Yeah.
Because then you go, well, now we have this content out here and we're going to take over the market. So they have a commercial interest in doing so. Yeah. But I believe it goes beyond that. Because when you look at the Murdoch press, or you look at any of these newspapers and all the clickbait that is out there, it's about outrage, and it's about getting you to be invoked and to be against this or for that. It's about controlling the narrative.
In other words, censorship is pure. I'm sorry to interrupt you there, because it just sparked thinking. But that's what censorship is. You're told it's to protect children. It's not at all.
I totally agree.
It's to tell adults how to think or feel. And I'll give you an example. Another one, if I can. Wolf of Wall Street. That got an R18 plus. Someone gave me an invite to go to the first press screening before it went to the US. That we got it, and I saw it in November, and it came out in February. So I'm sitting, in a, I'm sitting in a dark room, and the head of Roadshow comes out and says, "Our film got an R18 plus, and we're not going to fight it. We're proud of that R18 plus." And then one critic in the back, and I won't say who, and I'll tell you after.
Please do.
Rhymes with Raven Ratton. Said, "Is that because you'll sell more tickets with an R18 plus?" And they said, "Frankly, yes. Enjoy the film." And then it proved to you that they will. We've had a lot of films censored. There's a Blockbuster was doing it. Blockbuster Video would censor their own films. They'd cut films by minutes, 2 minutes. Boogie Nights.
They cut scenes out.
Yep, they cut scenes out.
This is my next point. They cut scenes out of movies.
Yeah, exactly. And it's the idea of, but if an R18 plus will earn you money, we're not going to cut it out.
Why would we cut it out?
Yeah. If it does, but if an MA can bring more kids in, fuck yeah. But Wolf of Wall Street, an R18 plus is appealing to adults. 15-year-olds, it's not so much. They want that adult market. That's what I mean. Like, Mortal Kombat's now R18 plus because it's a badge of honor. If it wasn't, if R18 plus was as deadly as they thought it was, they'd be cutting that film down, we'd be missing 10 minutes. Yeah. And it's like the idea that you censor art just for the sake of money, which is what they do anyway, I know, but it's also the narrative, and again, bringing it back to sexuality, that it has to be funny, or it has to be dead serious, and it has to be almost from a male perspective. That's what I mean. It comes back to beliefs, man. It comes back to beliefs. Yeah. I'll give you another example. I've had the fortune of traveling the world. And when I've traveled the world, I've bought DVDs legally and illegally. Because you go to places and they have the illegal DVDs, or they have the legal DVDs. Yeah. Cool thing about the illegal DVDs, I recommend it if you ever do it, buy the gold DVDs, don't buy blue DVDs. So the blue ones, they disintegrate quicker. Sure. They have degradation to them. So the gold ones are a better quality DVD if you're going to buy the ripped off stuff. Yeah. But what I do recommend ultimately is to buy the original. Because the original is the original. It's the original for a reason. Yes. But around the world, they have different zones. You would know this about DVD zones. When you get into a new laptop, you'll go, this is your last chance to pick a zone. And so you pick the zone. You go, I live in Australia, so it has to be an Australian zone. But you can go to JB Hi-Fi and get a... Sounds like responses for JB Hi-Fi. If you go to JB Hi-Fi, you can get a multi-zone DVD player. Sure. Right, and I have to own a DVD player like that because I have a whole bunch of multi-zone DVDs. Yeah. But sometimes you get double-ups. You get double-ups in your DVDs. You know, you get multiple copies of the same movie. Yeah. And one of those movies that I've got multiple copies of is Blade Trinity. I've got 3 copies of Blade Trinity from... all the way. Sorry. Yeah, I know. Look, it's not a great film. Yeah. But it's something I got for $2. Yeah. So I go, I don't have it with me, and I'm going to entertain some people, and I can do a Blade. Yeah. What would you call it? Marathon. Yep. Do a Blade marathon, and I can buy these 3 movies for $6 and make everyone happy. Here's the weird thing that I found. This is bizarre. Mm-hmm. You make it of what you like, but I know what I think about it. When I got the Australian version, when the movies will tell you time and place. So they'll have a little blurb that comes up at the bottom. Yep. It would say the year and where you are. In Blade Trinity, they go to Iraq to find Dracula. Right? So they go into this pyramid to find Dracula. When you're explaining this, I'm like, oh, that's why I don't have any copies of it. Sorry. Yeah, I know. It's a shit film. I know. Sorry, I'm joking. I have to. I'm kidding. It is a shit film. But my point is that when I had the Australian version, it says Iraq. And then I bought a later version in a different country from a different zone, and it says Syria.
Aha, taken aback.
Yeah.
I was taken aback by that. I go, why wouldn't you have in the original print that it was from whatever country? Transylvania, who gives a fuck? But no, they deliberately changed the name of the country from where the bad guy in this film came from. And you go, why would they do that?
Yeah.
Why would you have one print of a film where it says Iraq, the bad guy, the Dracula's from Iraq, and another film it's from Syria? Yeah. Why would you do that? And then you start to think, well, nothing's accidental in a film.
Oh, it's never accidental. They're clearly
they're trying to control the narrative.
Yeah.
So because obviously when they did that print, they'd already gone to the Iraq War and they were starting shit up with Syria, or vice versa. Pick your forte. My point is that someone somewhere made a decision, and then and when you think about that, they go, why do they zone DVDs to begin with? Is it to control a market, or is it to control a narrative?
Probably.
And I'd say there may be some money, financial benefits to doing that, but I think it's further than that. I think it's way more seeded than that. And to bring it into a censorship idea, you could argue that it's commercial. You could go, well, they showed pubic hair in this film, and it's an independent film, so it's R18 plus. And you go, but it's a teenage film that it talks about sex in a very open and honest way. Why would it be that way?
Yeah.
Or it's a film that shows gratuitous violence, but it shows in a realistic manner that actually discourages you from going to war.
Yeah.
Rather than encouraging you to go into, for instance, a movie theatre to shoot 30 people.
Yeah.
It discourages you from that.
Yeah.
Doesn't encourage it. Doesn't say that you're this invincible person. Or it doesn't say, this is where it goes, especially when you talk about sex, when you're talking about, and then you look at if you look at religion, all of sex revolves around women being the originator of sin.
Yes.
And then you say, it's a belief problem.
Yeah.
We're talking about
and
beliefs
if
here.
women are involved, they are submissive because a man has to control the narrative, and they have to be front and center because they're the ones reversing a sin or not committing it to begin with because they're getting married and blah, blah, blah. And it's like,
burn
this.
And this is what I think. This is what I think about it. I go, it's beyond commercial. This what we're talking about here is beyond commercial. And to censor people, you're actually censoring adults. And here's the strange thing, right?
Yeah.
The internet is the wild, wild west. You can watch anything.
Yeah.
Anything on the internet. And they're still trying, and there will be a point where that censorship model transfers to the internet.
Yeah.
It's inevitable that it happens. And they're trying to do it now with Facebook. They're trying to do it now with YouTube. They're going, well, and they're calling it media laws. That's where they've started.
Okay.
They've started with media laws. And I was, I'm on the fence about it. Because if you go, well, I'm Channel 9 and I made this news and you're making this much money off the post that you reposted off me, you go, well, that's your content, man. They owe you money. But then you go to YouTube and you go, but anyone can start a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
If you want to make money on YouTube, figure out a product that people want to watch and sell it. Well, that's the model.
Yeah.
That's the whole model of it. So, yeah, I think this really ties into, again, I'm still wearing my tinfoil hat. It really ties into the military-industrial complex that have this belief system. They have this system of, especially in in the Commonwealth, it's God, Queen, country.
Yeah.
This idea of protecting the crown and protecting our sovereign borders. And don't get me wrong, there's important things about that, important aspects about that. But I think there's another force out there, and most of these forces that are controlled by monarchies are controlled by the old energy companies, the oil companies, the coal companies.
Yeah.
They're the ones that own shares in Sony and MGM. They own it. They own that. They own that business. There are some independents out there that sort of weave between the cracks, but the ones that are really out there at the moment are the tech giants: Facebook, YouTube, Netflix. These are the guys that are really pushing against censorship, and these are the guys that are really pushing against this old hat idea of what sex is, what violence is, what narrative is. And I think, I know we've gone on this really long journey, but to bring it back,
I love hearing it, but I'm just like, I've got to bring this back somehow.
Yeah, no, but to bring it back,
I know what you're
bring
saying.
it back to your film, and this is what invoked me today watching your film. was this whole idea of what is refused classification. Why is it refused classification?
Yeah.
Is it purely based on a decision to protect children? And when you ask that question and verbalize it, you realize that no, it's not.
Not at all.
It's about censoring adults.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
absolutely.
And unpack that. Why do we want to censor adults?
Because then they'll think... because if they censor adults long enough, that milkshake video would resonate. Do you know what I'm saying?
Ooh,
no,
yuck, that's terrible.
But it's true. The idea of if you hide from sex long enough, if you don't talk about sex long enough, it'll go away. If you don't talk about queer relationships in films, if you don't show it long enough, if you keep censoring it, you don't ever see a queer relationship again. The relationship you saw in the film... Not a spoiler, but there is something to this relationship.
There is an unconventional thing in there.
Have you seen it much?
Much?
Have you seen it before? Have you seen it?
Oh no! I would a very small percentage.
Yeah,
very small.
Because
it's been out there. There's even movies out there that have tackled it, but in a cutesy kind of way,
in a very nice way. And that's because there have been films that wanted to explore it, and the MPAA and the studio said no. The idea of don't show a relationship in a certain way.
They seem to be happy to me.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, you really have to.
You guys got to see this movie. It's really good.
Thank you. But that's what I meant. There is a relation. I'll just address the camera like I would. Like a MPAA. Something. Sorry, I've forgotten the word. The point is, in the film that we've made, there is a relationship. It's not a common one.
Definitely not.
And it's not that crazy or out there ridiculous. When you see it, it should be kind of normalized and common. On the internet, it's normalized. When you watch a film, it's not.
It fucks up the tax system, though. It fucks up the tax system.
You're spoiling it. No, you're not spoiling it. But the idea of a relationship... Okay, here's the thing. If you have a relationship that's beyond monogamous, just by a little bit, even the idea of openness in a relationship...
There's still monogamy in that relationship.
Not quite.
Yeah, not quite.
Watch it again.
Yeah, but when you zoom out, it's still about monogamy.
But there's dialogue that suggests otherwise.
Yeah, that's true. Well, let's not get too deep into it, but let's just say an unconventional relationship.
Yes, a relationship that involves openness and the idea of queerness entering a heterosexual relationship, and the idea of wouldn't that be the idea of that not being troubling but being wonderful. Where the idea of, hey, I'm not straight, I'm bi. And to have that in a film, bisexuality is kind of not a thing in films. Usually
only if it's a woman and it's to do with an experiment.
Yes.
That's
done
device. Yeah.
It's a plot device, and it's always in the negative.
Yeah.
Hey, I fall in love with a woman, and then there's intrigue. Ooh, the woman.
Or it's usually, if it's on the masculine side, it's about a dude winning two chicks.
Yes. Exactly.
That's the other way they do it, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's never about you're in a relationship, hey, there's a queer aspects involved, or hey, I've got different feelings, and there's no celebration of that. There's
definitely not.
Which I can understand why, but I know couples, and I know people who are polyamorous and open, and they're happy, and it's like, why have I not seen you in films? Why are you not in films?
Fucks up the tax system.
It's true. But again...
So I always look at the money. I'm a cynic. I look at the money.
But in looking at the money...
But then you look at the belief as well.
But
belief goes against God.
But it's both. It's exactly that. It's the idea of marriage is not sacred. And it's like, well, no, it never was. It's a contract in a church. Sorry, I don't mean to belittle marriage, but it's more the point of... relationships can merge and form in their own different ways, and they should be celebrated, especially open sexuality and different types of sexuality. And then when you look at the way that censorship boards work, and the way that the same films being made over and over again. That's what I mean.
Yeah, and that's the bit that really grinds my gears, man. Like,
but do you know what I mean? Like, what if we had this in the 80s and 90s? What if those 80s comedies that we love were even kind of more revolutionary and better and funnier?
But let's go to the
90s?
hypocrisy of the issue. These ideas come from a conservative ideal.
Yes.
Currently, we have a conservative government that's in place. Let's see how they've been performing in a conservative narrative over the last 5 years. Like, come on.
Yeah. Those videos tell you everything.
It tells you everything.
It tells you everything that, hey, we're going to talk about sex and consent.
But by the way, we're not going to talk about that.
No, we're going to use a weird system of American football and milkshakes. But again, it comes back to this American fantasy of relationships under a church and under a God, Queen and Country. God, Queen and Country have no time for movies like Short Bus and any other film that's bisexual and open. The idea that sexuality and openness is more terrifying than really hardcore violence or numbers of people getting murdered without consequence is troubling, but it tells you how we've seen the same movie more than once.
And this is where I'll this is where I add to that. I think it's don't get me wrong, it's not just about movies, it's about adult decisions in general.
Yeah.
It's about if you zoom out further, you can't explore this inner space.
No.
Because this weed's going to kill you, man. Because it's going to make you crazy.
Yeah.
You can't do these mushrooms because you're going to lose your shit.
Yeah.
But now they're doing studies that find that helps with PTSD, helps with people that have been through acute stress.
I've heard that with acid and
it's the same. But
I won't hide it. I like acid, but yes, that's
but these things have been unpacked. Yeah. But for a long time, they've been taboo. The same way that sex is taboo, and these things shouldn't be taboo. They should be out in the open. They should be discussed properly. Yeah. And if they were discussed properly, and these forums where you discuss them, where do we discuss them? We discuss them in films. We discuss them in music. We discuss these are where these conversations happen.
That's where you go to those things. Just
exactly.
Yeah.
To resonate.
Yeah, and the idea that
and reflect.
They censor dialogue too, because that was a big thing. Where it was, I wish I could remember the film, and it's bad that I don't. But there was an example.
You not remembering a film? What's going
on? I know. There was about 10 of them where the dialogue was what got them an NC-17 or R18 plus,
which is crazy.
They were talking about sex
crazy.
Openly, and they said no. And I said, why? And they said, if you cut out that dialogue and you can even show a sex scene where you show that woman naked, we'll give you an R. And I'm like, and they said, but why? I think it might have been Boogie Nights. There was a conversation about the specificity.
Good fucking movie too.
That's one of my favorites.
Yeah, I love that movie.
Paul Thomas Anderson's my number one.
Yeah, man.
But anyway, we'll get to Paul Thomas Anderson in a sec. Anyway, he only shoots on film, and I'm like, well, that explains a few things. But Boogie Nights, I heard this. I don't know if it's real, so please don't quote me on it. But there was a conversation about a sex scene they were going to film, and the MPA said, no, you can't have that. And it's like, we have naked bodies. We have a
cocks.
We have
fucking frontal nudity.
We have
tits,
a dick at the end.
Cocaine.
The dick wasn't erect, therefore it's an R. If it's erect, it's an NC-17. And the conversation.
It's a big fucking dick.
It was also rubber. That's another story. It's also Clark's.
Erect for some men.
Poor Clark's rubber. Yes. But the point was that a conversation was what tanked that film's chance of an R. And they had to cut the conversation. But do you know what I'm saying? Openness is what's scary. Like the openness of sexuality and also involving queerness, and also that's terrifying. Again, a sex scene, explicit one where there is no joy is an R. That's fine. Because again, sex is serious. Don't over talk about it. It's terrifying. But again, like those
7 billion people on the planet, they came from somewhere.
Yeah.
Like they showed up somehow. Somehow they arrived here.
As long as you don't explain it, you get an R.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Like, that's what I'm saying. I think there's elitism involved in this.
Yes.
And I think out of that elitism, you can see some patriarchy. Sometimes I get upset about the patriarchy argument because I go, well, most of us cooperate. Most of us are in a cooperation.
Yeah.
We're all working together. We're not all the same. We're not. All of us aren't cut off the same cloth. We are all of different backgrounds, different sexualities, colours, genders, sexuality. We are so, and that's the fucking thing that makes us cool.
Yeah,
it really is, man. Like, imagine if we're all just heterosexuals, they'd all just married man, woman, the whole time.
According to the MPAA and the OFLC, that's what they hope for.
Yeah, but that's just not fucking reality.
Exactly.
It's just not fucking reality.
May I have a quick little segment of sneaking into a film? Well, it wasn't even sneaking in. My sister said...
This is when you're going into Dendy's?
Yeah, Dendy, Newtown, and there was a film I wanted to watch, which was Short Bus. Have you seen Short Bus?
No, I haven't seen Short Bus.
Okay, Short Bus
This is coming up a lot in this show. I mean, there's so many films I haven't watched. I've watched a lot of movies, dude.
I got to name drop Short Bus. Short Bus is my number one. And that inspired this film big time. Short Bus is the name of a sex club in New York, and the film is
You had my attention.
a little bit after 9/11, but everyone in that film is borderline pansexual, queer. There is no straight heterosexual sex, and I'm not saying, but it also talks about women's orgasms. But it's a very sweet, funny film. I said to my sister, because she was a bit older and she was 18, I was 15. It was R18 plus, and only Dindy Newtown was playing it, and I said, I want to go watch this fucking film because it looks fun. It looks cool. Like, there's something about it looks cool. Not just the sex. It just looks like it'd be fun. And then she goes, let me just go to the counter and bring you in. I bet you they won't care. And they didn't. And they said he wants to see Short Bus. He specifically said he doesn't want to go watch. And they said, no, he wants to see Short Bus. And I said, okay.
Yeah, but that's Dendy, though. Dendy are really cool.
And I'm like, I don't get this. This is weird. But when I went in, because of that person was open and cool and said, no, let him see it. He's 15 and he wants to see a film about open sexuality. He won't come out shooting us. Like, it's going to be... Do you know what I mean? And then
what we should have given you is an AR-15 and let you go watch Universal Soldier and deprive you of doing acid. That's what we should do.
Pretty much. I don't like this. Is Short Bus in the next cinema? But the point was, when I saw Short Bus at 15, it made an impression where I'm like, fuck yeah, how do we get this into the greater unions, the Hoyts, the bigger cinemas, and we can make it funny but show open sexuality. It shouldn't just be at the Denny Newtown and the manager letting me in because he goes, nah, he wants to see this, go for his life. Do you know what I mean, though? That person was cool. If it wasn't for them, I would have seen it at that age, and that wouldn't have sparked something.
Yeah, but any manager that's working at Dendy's has to be fucking cool.
You'd be surprised.
Yeah, I know. No, I would be surprised. I find generally, because I talk to a lot of cinemas.
Yeah.
And cinemas talk to me, which is really nice.
That's cool.
That's really cool as well. I'm enjoying those conversations.
Hello, Palace Cinemas. How are you, Ross?
Yeah. Hi. No, I'm not moving. We're happy with Event Cinemas. We're happy. Yes. We're happy. We're currently happy.
Yeah. Fair enough. They're the best. Yeah.
They're the best. They're the best in the world. No, through these conversations, I'd say that the worst people I've ever had to deal with is techies. Techies are the worst.
Yep.
Usually despondent, disgruntled ex-filmmakers that fucking hate everybody.
Really?
But the last one I had, actually, at Event Cinemas, by the way, big shout-out, Paul. Lovely guy. Fantastic. No, he walked out of Made in the West. He goes, I've been doing it. He started off in the conversation like, I've been dealing with festivals for the last 15 years, and, I'm ready for you. I've heard that you've asked for someone that is going to care about you, and I'm going to care about you. I was like, okay, whatever. Just don't be an asshole.
Yeah.
That's all I require.
Yeah.
Just don't be an asshole. If you don't do your job, I'll find someone to replace you, and you can pretend you're doing your job, and I'll get them to do your job.
Yeah.
But it wasn't the case. He did his job, but at the end of it, he goes, out of 15 years of doing this shit, no one has ever done it like this.
Yeah.
And I'll go, fuck yeah.
No,
that's what you want. He gets it.
He does. That's funny because I got told don't make a print of audio guide. I wanted to spend all my money on making a print for audio guide because I just wanted that Super 16 print.
Yeah, but you're an insane person.
No, I'm
You're
not.
an insane person.
Oh, fuck off. Festivals take them. I love it.
There's one guy that can process your shit in this country.
Yeah, and he's 85.
And he's 85 years old.
Yeah.
Hey, look. He's 85. I'm not... Just read between the lines, man.
He might be younger than that, and I'm going to get a grilling from him. But every time I ring him, he goes, Chris, you're not shooting on an iPhone. I'm like, no, Werner. We're going back to...
Werner, that's his name.
Werner Winkelmann, my motherfucking man.
Oh, dude. But, who's going to replace Werner? He can't do it forever.
There's some.
Well, Are they out there?
I will tell you a story, and it's going to go against what I'm saying. I went to Warner Brothers and I met one of the sound mixers of Tenet, and who did a lot of other Nolan films. And he goes, someone sent me audio guide and I watched it. I'm like, where did you get the processing people? And I'm like, there's one dude and he's great. What's the thing? He goes, oh, here we can't get anyone good. It's young people who don't care and they're just in the States
they can't get it.
Yeah, in the processing labs, made from Warner Brothers because of Nolan, PTA, J.J. Abrams, and Tarantino.
Yeah.
They had to open some labs.
Yeah, of course.
It's mostly young people who just don't give a shit. And they use it.
They hate their fucking life.
Yeah, they hate their fucking life. They're like, why am I doing this? What a waste of time. Just get the DCP. And then they said, where's your guy? And they tried to get Werner's contact info. I'm like, he's not going to...
I was just going to tell people DCP, Digital Cinema Package, for our non-cinema astute people.
And when you shoot on film, you have to get it taken to a lab like you would be Big W 1 hour photo. And you have to get it processed overnight and then you can watch it.
Yeah, that's why they call it dailies, man.
Yeah,
that's why you call it dailies, right? But just to finish off though, so you shoot on film.
Yes.
And just to express to our audience, I just wanted to say that, look, you can take the same frame and shoot it on film and it will be different. Every time. It will never be the same. The grain will be different. The texture will be different. It won't be vastly different, but it'll be different.
Yep.
You can take a digital shot and replicate that millions of times, and it'll be exactly the same every time.
I know, and I hate it.
And that's the difference between film. That's the difference between film and digital.
Yep.
Is that you're dealing with a force of nature, which is a chemical reaction that is hit by photons that chemically react, and that is a force of nature. It's literally a force of nature.
Yes.
Digital is exactly that. It is something that can be replicated and redone over and over and over again.
Yeah.
So that's what you do.
That's what I do.
That's what you do. And it's something that because you're a young dude, man.
Yeah.
Like most people that are shooting film, like they've opened labs for Abrams and Tarantino, right?
Yeah.
But here you are working with Warner.
Yeah.
Werner. And still processing film, man.
Yeah.
Still processing 16 millimeter film.
Yeah.
Fucking insane, dude.
Why, thank you. It was my number one. It was a thing I've always wanted to do. I saw when digital was coming in 2010, 11, 12, and I was like, no, fuck this. I'm sorry. This looks okay, but I want fucking film. I want the grain. I want the color. And as one esteemed filmmaker, Claire Denis, who I recommend to you, said, digital pushes color away, film embraces it. And I was like,
That's a good saying.
It's a great saying.
It's a great saying.
And the idea, if I'm going to make shit with no money, I want it to look stunning. And I want those actors to really feel like they're working hard. And we get 3 amazing takes over 10 okay ones on digital, but that's...
Yeah, well, that's something that you fall into.
Yeah.
And showing a review to an actor, they go, can I see that?
Yeah.
On film, you go, no, that's not possible. Sorry.
Yeah, but you tell them early, and there's this trust system. And
you have to deal with it. You have to deal with it.
Yeah, but everyone's on the same playing field. That's the thing with film. Everyone's like, the actor's like, no, I trust you. I get it. You can see it because we've worked on this. The 3 takes are going to be great. Even the 2. I did some 1 takes. I don't give a fuck because we worked
tick, 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 tick. It's changing over, man.
I know, but we worked on it. Because we knew. It's like, whatever we see, we're going to see it together, and we're going to be in the same playing field. We're not going to tinker with it, because we've got it, and we need to trust that. So,
all right. Well, when can we expect Refuse classification to come out?
I'm hoping for a festival run starting from June. That'll be a 1 to 2 year process, and then we'll see what happens from there. We'll see who takes it, who likes it, who gets to enjoy it. And if you do see it, when it hits the festivals, let us know.
Don't forget to enter it in Maine in the West.
And no, that's one of our major festivals. I want Maine in the West to see it.
Oh man, you got to put it up on that screen, man. It is absolutely glorious to see films that are shot on film on that screen. That's as I said, I believe I said it to you in the last show. Filmmakers came up to me about your film. Like, stopping me in hallways when you're busy. Because you see me at the festival.
Yes,
I'm busy man. Busy man.
Yeah.
People stop me at the festival. I've got goosebumps just talking about it. People stop me to talk about your film. They go, who is that guy? Who shot that?
Tell me that, man, because I don't know anyone. I don't know any other filmmakers.
I do, man.
I just learnt it myself, and with my cinematographer, Kim. He's not mine. He's amazing, and we just worked at it together.
Oh, dude, the audience love it, but they don't know why.
Yeah.
Filmmakers see it, and they go, who the fuck shot that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
But yeah, so you've got reviews coming out, and you've also got Audio Guide, which is out there. So where can we find... Oh, you can't tell us yet.
September,
that's right.
and I promise
September.
Add me on social media. Say hey. If you'd like one of your previous guests, Amelia Conway, message me.
Big shout out to Amelia. Amelia's great. I really love her.
Hey, I love Audio Guide. And I'm like, that made my day. So please do. If you've seen Audio Guide, just let us know. Like, we made it for nothing. And even though I shoot film, I'm doing it on my own accord. And I went to film school for 3 hours, and they were giving me shit about my film.
Yeah, no, they kicked him out.
Yeah. Fuck them.
they pulled the fire alarm and said, "Oh yeah, no, it's closed now."
They said film is dead, and I'm like, well, so is my presence here. No, I didn't mean to be cocky.
Take a big sniff of "Go fuck yourself."
Yeah, exactly. It was nice. I said burn in hell. But no, always tell us. Myself, my cinematographer, Kim Vidikas, tell us. Like, we work really hard to get these films made on film. We do it ourselves, and it's just, we love film, and we hope you love the look of it and get the feel of it. Audio Guide will be available from September. And after this, I will hopefully be making a feature. So any Western City filmmakers who want to make shit, let me know.
Okay. Dropping the feature bomb.
I know, but it won't be film.
Yeah, no,
I'll try. No, well, some of it is.
Find the cash. You'll be right.
I know. I'll be trying.
You'll be right. Yeah. But you're releasing your website soon?
Eventually. I'll let you know.
So check out on the socials, your website coming out.
Yeah, that's cool. Just look me up. You'll see me. You'll say Kodak shoot film, and you'll know, yep, that's that clown.
Oh, man. You're going to be a good poster boy for those guys. They'll love you.
Let's hope so.
Yeah, let's hope so.
Yeah.
Well, you've just seen Chris Elena. Don't forget to go and check him out on socials. And by the way, while we're talking about socials, don't forget to check out the Pagey Train. If you've been enjoying the show, you can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. You can find us on, of course, iHeartRadio. And most of all, it's a visual podcast that we shoot on digital cameras, but that's okay.
This isn't 35?
No, it's not 35.
Look, I'm going to see it tomorrow with the dailies when we take it to the lab. It's going to be great.
It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be pristine. But if you've been enjoying it, don't forget to go to YouTube and subscribe. It's very helpful. And of course, if you're really been enjoying the show, hit the notifications button. And hey, if you really, 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 really been enjoying the show, don't forget to comment. Drop us a comment. Send us a message. Tell us how your day's been going. You've been watching the Pagey Train, and we'll see you next time. That's the show, baby. Well done.
I love it.
We ran out of beer, bro.
God damn it.
We ran out of beer. I've got more beer, though. We'll have more beer. We'll do the promos, and then we'll drink more beer.
Sounds good.
All right. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Kill the record, baby.